What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Lev Games Season 1, Episode 11. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight, the average man's perspective on football. Don't want to miss that part. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hello, hello.
Brian.
Good evening.
And Mark.
Hello.
Before we get started, I want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to our channel. Once you subscribe, hit that little bell icon so you get notifications wherever we go live. Also want to encourage you to jump on over to sportsintel.net for some great commentary and opinion on everything sports related. Once again, that's sportsintel.net. So what we starting off with tonight, Brian?
Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter.
Oh yeah, follow us on Twitter.
Tonight, we're going to have a pretty jam-packed show. A whole lot's going on in the NFL. A lot of craziness going on. Draft. We're talking not a lot of draft, but talking a lot of the trades coming up. Thank you, Marcus. There, a lot of crazy games that went on last week. And what we're probably going to do right now is start off with a review of what we did last week. So the first game we had going on was the Broncos against Arizona. That was a Thursday night game. And we'll start it off with Mark. Who did you pick?
Well, this game, I took the Denver Broncos. As Von Miller said, he was going to kick their ass. They did it. Rosen looked terrible. He threw three picks. The Denver defense was all over him. I took the Broncos. I mean, I don't know what Arizona can do now.
Didn't he get hurt too in the game?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he got hurt, but he that would have been a good excuse to get out of the game.
I believe he got hurt.
Sure. You know, think about Buffalo's.
Is it Buffalo?
Yeah.
Arizona?
Josh Allen.
Okay, my apologies.
Josh Allen got hurt, not Rosen.
Yeah, I guess just
he probably wish he would after that butt kick we took from Von Miller and crew. But I took Denver on this one.
Mr. Helms, who did you pick on this one?
I took the Broncos, and it looks like I was right. That was a terrible game played by the Cardinals. That game was pretty much over by the first half. Rosen threw 2 pick sixes in the first quarter. So, you know, if you're going to start off like that, then it's not going to be a good game for you. And pretty much turned out like I thought it was going to turn out. Right now, I think Von Miller and Bradley Chubb had the most sacks by a teammate duo in this season 14. So I knew that their defense was going to be too much for Arizona to handle. Arizona's not a good team this year. So,
Herman?
Yeah, I took the Broncos also. Arizona's definitely in a rebuilding state. Denver's not that good either, in all honesty, offensively. Both of the quarterbacks threw for under 200 yards and combined for 4 interceptions. And so you said Rosen had 3 and Keenum had 1. So it's funny because Keenum is basically on almost the exact same type of team he was on last year with the Vikings. And he's not getting it done. They just need him to drive the bus, and he's not driving the bus. So yeah, I picked the Broncos. That was a given. So
again, we had a clean sweep on this particular topic because I also picked the Broncos. Like Marcus said, it wasn't a game really. By the time halftime was up, I decided to go to bed and call it a night. Like Mark said, Von Miller just came out and destroyed him. I think he had 2 or 3 sacks in that game. 2 sacks in that game. But the quarterback for Arizona had no time in the pocket, had no running game. I don't know what happened to Johnson. I mean, he's really been I don't know if it's because of the injury last year he's coming off of, if it's just a poor offensive line, but he's just not having the year that he's had previously.
Yeah, no, he's been quiet. I mean, nothing.
Yeah. He was 14 for 39, averaging 2.8 in that game, 2.8 yards to carry that game. So not a good game at all.
And it's just not going to cut it. So, I mean, that was a pretty quick sleep. We're going to now start over, and we're going to talk with the Bengals at the Chiefs. The Bengals were Herman.
All right, well, I went with the Chiefs on this one. I expected it to be a better game. I was kind of disappointed in the Bengals. They had a bad week before, and I thought that the Bengals were going to, bounce back a little bit. I didn't expect them to win, but Andy Dalton. He really disappointed. He disappointed my fantasy team. Like 15 for 29, 148 yards.
He's your starting quarterback in fantasy?
Well, I had to put him in this week because it was a bye week for Aaron Rodgers. But then Mahomes, he was his normal self, 28 for 39, 358 yards, 4 touchdowns. The Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC right now, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not the Patriots. It's the Chiefs.
even though the Patriots beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Mark?
This one I chose the Chiefs also. Mahomes had a splendid night. He only threw one pick, but that was late in the game. But showing his, he's spreading the wealth. He had 8 different targets, so he's starting to really click with that offense. They're looking good. Bengals, hey, what can I say? Marvin Lewis he's got a big hole to dig out of. Chiefs. I took them.
Marcus?
Hey, I took the Chiefs as well. I mean, I like Herman. I expected a much better game than what it turned out to be. Just like the last game we talked about, this game is pretty much over by the first half. Patrick Mahomes, he's lighting it up. He's doing it. I mean, their offense is just incredible. But I still am reserved about crowning them champions with the number 32 defense in the league. I just don't. When they get to the playoffs, I can't see them on the same path. Eventually, somebody is going to catch on and shut them down in offense. And if the defense can't stop anybody, then,
I don't know, because they have a run game. They always talk about you got to have a run game in the playoffs, and they have that too.
No, they definitely have it, but
they're not just passing. So,
but you got to have a defense. That's the only weakness. If they could even get like a number 15 ranked defense,
I think those numbers are a little skewed though, because teams are always so far behind. Then they're given, remember, you got to remember that stat is on yards. Again, that stat's almost always on yards for the NFL. And these teams are behind so much that it gets to the point where, they're going to chunk out those yards then because they're trying to play catch up.
Yeah, but that defense has given up a lot of points too over the season too.
So
They gave up a whole lot of points to the
New
Patriots.
England.
None of their games have been like really, really big loss. Other teams have been scoring.
Yeah,
this was the first ball.
This is the first, where the
I
defense
just feel
actually
like
really
that,
stepped
that
up.
they just don't. I mean, if they want you in a shootout, in all honesty, I think that's how they feel like they'll beat you. It doesn't really matter.
All right, so on this one, I was also with the Chiefs. So again, we had another clean sweep with the picks on that particular one. Not really much to say. You guys pretty much covered all the bases. The next game we're going to jump to is the Giants at the Falcons. Another game that really wasn't a contest until near the end. The Giants did try to make a comeback, but you just felt that whole game that the Falcons had to win in scenario with that particular game, which is who I had picked on this one. Marcus, who were you with on this game?
I picked the Giants. I just figured, as bad as Atlanta's defense was, they might give one up. And Eli, he did actually have a pretty game. He was 27 for 38 for 399 yards and 1 touchdown. But basically, they're just a bad team all around. And I should have had more faith in the Falcons. That was a game. They probably shouldn't even been as close as the final score turned out to be, as bad as the Giants are. But the biggest problem with the Falcons is their defense is bad. It's definitely bad, almost as bad as Kansas City's. So, that's their weakness. And if they expect to be a playoff contender, they're going to shore that up as well.
Herman.
Yeah, I went with the Falcons too. It was weird. I watched the second half of the game. I missed the first half, but the crazy thing to me was I was looking at the quarterback stats, right? And Ryan was 31 for 39, 379 yards and 1 TD. And then Manning, like Marcus said, was 27 38 for 399 and 1 TD. All the passing yardage, and the score was 23-20. Like, what in the world? Like, they just going up and down the field, but nobody was doing
Get in his zone.
That was crazy, man. But, yeah, I thought the Falcons would actually put up more points than that, especially against the Giants, because I felt like the Giants' offense wasn't going to move the ball a whole lot, and that the Falcons' offense would be on the field a lot, So
I thought Julio would finally get in the end zone.
Yeah, I thought so too. I don't know
That didn't happen
with
again.
that, but yeah, I had the Falcons.
OBJ has more passing touchdowns this season than Julio Jones has receiving touchdowns.
Receiving touchdowns.
Okay, yeah, okay. I had to rethink that stat. All right, Mr. Parker, who were you on this one?
I chose the Atlanta Falcons on this one. At the end of the game, man, that was a bizarre. I don't know what was they thinking.
To go for 2.
Manning going for a goal line run sneak 2 plays in a row. I'm like, killed time. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So the coaching decision at the end is what, to me, sold them in. They had a chance to take that game and take charge of it. I think Didn't the Giants were up at one point? Didn't Atlanta have to come back in that game?
I don't think so. I thought they were chasing them the whole
Yeah, I
game.
thought Atlanta was up the whole game. I'm not positive.
Yeah, but I chose Atlanta and they took over.
Yeah, Atlanta was up the whole game.
Okay.
All right, so the next game we're going to talk about is the Texans at the Jaguars. Again, this game was very boring. Blake Bortles is atrocious. Marcus, I'm going to let you start this one off.
Yeah, like you said, Blake Bortles, he's terrible. I mean, he got benched, and I picked the Texans, and that was pretty much the reason why the Jaguars are not who we thought they were at all this season. You know, as proof that just because one season does not trickle over to the next season, because they were in the AFC Championship last season. This season, the defense is just letting everybody score points on them. So, I picked the Texans, and the crazy thing is, hearing about Deshaun Watson having to catch the bus to Jacksonville, 12-hour ride.
Yeah, wasn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because they say something's wrong with his lung. He has a deflated lung or something like that, so he can't get in.
That's from the Cowboys game, isn't it?
Probably
I
was.
think it is.
Because he was laboring in the middle of that game.
They checked him out a couple times.
So flying,
He can't fly.
He
Yeah,
can't
they
fly.
don't fly.
Oh, that's right.
So that tells you he needs more protection. You can't fly because you got deflated lung. Well, might need to stop taking all them hits.
Absolutely. I was with you, Marcus, on this one. I picked the Texans also to win this game. The loss of Leonard Fournette. I mean, I don't know if that's the biggest thing that changed this Jaguars offense. It just doesn't look like the same play. I mean, I know Blake Bortles is Blake Bortles, but I mean, earlier in the season he was doing it up. I remember eating crow because that dude lit up a team. But I mean, he was just atrocious. I mean, it was just terrible. And then they had the other guy. I didn't even know who their backup was. He didn't do much better, but
Cody Kelsey.
But by that time, even if he was Brett Favre, it was too late. But I'm glad that I went with the Texans on that one. How did you feel about this game, Mark?
I chose the Jaguars. I'm eating crow on this one. Your $54 million quarterback, please. He stunk it up. I read another stat where the Jaguars have been outscored like the first half, like 54-0.
I think it's more than that, actually.
I think it's like I heard somewhere like a whole game was like 90 for the last
They
90
can't
something.
score anything within the first two quarters of these. So I mean that unfortunately, I don't think Fournette can help him out with that one. I mean a lot of that does rely on Bortles. He had 2 fumbles in the game, trying to do something with the ball.
One was down near the end zone, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, I
Matter of fact, I think after that play is when he got benched.
yeah. And then you also hear the story that they had the brawl in the locker room afterwards, which was even crazier.
But you know what's really crazy? He's announced the starter this week.
Yeah,
He was?
He's on a short leash,
he's
so
going to start. Yeah. So
I heard somebody say on TV. It sounds crazy. They should trade for Eli Manning.
That's what everybody keeps saying. With the correlation with Coughlin.
yeah, but he's not going to do it.
Yeah, I'll see what difference it would make.
I don't know. I think Eli.
Jaguars may have a little bit better line.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, not much better, but I think Eli could do better. Herman, who'd you have on this one?
Yeah, I went with the Jags too. I really thought that they were going to bounce back, but obviously I was wrong. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, Bortles, I know, Mark, you said you don't know if Fournette can help it, but I believe that he can. I believe that his presence would change things a little bit. Teams would be a little bit more worried about him, and maybe Bortles would even stop trying to do too much. He's a bus driver. You pay, what you say, what is it, $54 million? For a bus driver. But right now he's trying to be like a jet pilot.
And you're kind of right, too, because it seemed like last year people were like loading up the box and trying to stop more Fournette. So Bortles had a lot easier passes to throw to, pretty much the first or the second receiver in the formation was going to probably be open with one-on-one.
One other thing I forgot to talk about was Carlos Hyde being traded from Cleveland to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Kind of give him helping the running game.
Stuff.
So
it's gonna be weird though. Like Fournette is not supposed to be that injured.
Right.
First of all,
going back to his college days in LSU, he had the same problem. He was constantly
is it hurt his hammies, right? His hamstrings, right?
So none of this is like really a surprise.
No, but I'm saying like he was like, oh, he's out for a week or whatever. Yeldon kept going. You saw they brought in Jamal Charles,
And they released
now,
him.
now they got Carlos Hyde. So
What's really crazy is Texas won this game, and Deshaun Watson was 12 for 24 for 139 yards.
yeah. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
No.
No, their defense did everything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much good for the reviews for this week.
Oh, whoa. No. No, we got one more game.
Yeah, we're gonna start with Miami.
No. We got one more game.
We do?
Yes, we do. Yes,
I
we
don't
do.
see that on my paper.
Yes, we have it.
And I would just like to state for the record that I argued against picking that game just for the exact reason we wanted to talk about it twice. So this is on you, Mr. Brian. On you.
All right, Marcus. We have one more game to speak of.
Yes,
there
we do.
was a game at FedEx Field last Sunday at 4:25. Jesus Christ, this guy.
I will walk the hell up off this show. You don't turn the music on.
Oh, God.
Off, Marcus.
Hey, I had to get in there.
Okay. That's okay, because we'll be picking Thanksgiving Day game.
Well, we'll get to that. So at 4:25 p.m., the Cowboys and the Redskins went on another epic journey in the long tradition that we've had. And on this particular game, we'll let Marcus start it off.
Well, in order for the Redskins to win the game, they managed to do what they needed to do, which was shut down Zeke. That's pretty much all they needed to do, and I believe they kept him down for 15 carries for 33 yards, averaging 2.2. And the Cowboys are not going to win like that. Nobody's really afraid of their outside wide receivers, not afraid of tight end. And so Redskins did exactly what I thought they had to do. That's the only reason they won. That, and I will admit that call at the end, that was garbage. I don't know how they managed to get that call. It was
so do
garbage.
you want to apologize to your owner? Like, because you went on this big rant against the New Orleans. I mean, do you want to apologize now and tell him that he's a great owner?
No, he's not a great owner. They're still the Redskins are who we say they think they are. They just happen to win. That's all. That's all that happened. Okay? Cowboys are not a great team. If Cowboys had been a better team, they'd have came in there and probably whooped the Redskins. They won a game. I'm not going to say they should have won. They won a game that they could have won. And that's all there is to it.
I mean, you don't want to give any respect to your defense on this one.
Defense did good. I mean, like I said, they did the way
good job.
They did what they had to do, and that was shut down Zeke.
Why are you asking for me?
But even though they let some no-name wide receiver just get straight down the field, wide open.
That's
Who,
the best
Beasley?
superstar in the league.
No, who scored that touchdown?
Gallup.
Yeah,
He's a rookie.
yeah. Let some rookie just get wide open and run.
He's a
All
good
right, we got a lot more to talk about. Herman,
No,
who
I'm
did you
gonna
pick
go.
in
Let
this
me
game?
go last, please.
Okay. All right, Mark.
It's like Marcus said. I thought it was going to come down to who can stop which running back. You had Zeke who only got 33 yards. You had the old man get 99 yards. Unfortunately, for you Cowboys fans, I don't know. Your decision at the end of the game was kind of questionable too. When we start with this. The Redskins had an issue to me with after the Cowboys scored, they got the ball with 1 minute and 37 seconds, and they ran the ball 3 times straight.
What is what you're supposed
You make the first down, you throw a pass,
No,
you
don't.
get a first down to kill it.
No. Peterson's been chunking
You play
off.
to win the game.
No, Peterson's been chunking
Yeah,
off yards all day long.
No. Mark is right.
No, he's not.
If that game had went on longer,
No.
that game had went on longer,
I don't-
there was no doubt. If that game went to overtime, there's no doubt the Cowboys are going to win that game.
You don't.
Redskins had
throw,
lost
you don't
all
throw,
momentum.
you don't throw
That
in
is
situations.
that is true.
Um,
That is true.
I'm playing to win the game.
I don't agree at all.
I'm playing to win the game. I'm
You
gonna
are
do,
playing
I'm
to
gonna
win
do,
the game.
I'm
You
gonna
know
do
why?
something other than run that ball 3
I'm gonna
times.
tell you why. You're playing to win the game because first of all, your defense, even though Dallas had went down and scored, your defense all day has been
That's
shutting them
bad.
down, and they've been good. They've been shutting them down. So Dallas has timeouts. You throw on third, and you don't get the completion. You stop the clock for them.
The part that they messed up on was when Smith ran out of bounds. Smith should have slid.
That
kept
was the
clock
mistake.
running.
Exactly.
That was
That
the
was the
mistake right
mistake.
there.
Yeah, that was the
He
mistake.
should
didn't
have
come
stayed.
back to bite.
Exactly. He should have stayed in bounds, killed some more of the clock.
that and the Cowboys had momentum. Like I said, if that game went to overtime, Cowboys would have won.
I agree.
They were going to win.
I think they went to overtime. I think Cowboys would have put that game out.
Y'all are missing that when you're to the end of the game like that. You're saying the Cowboys have momentum. They went down the field, but you got to remember the defense starts to play soft at that point. Okay, they don't want to give up the big play. They're going to let you get down the field, and then they're going to tighten up on you in the red zone. So it looks like the team is getting momentum, but truthfully, your defense had dominated the other offense all day long. You were always in the backfield. You sacked Dak, I think, 4 times.
4 times, yeah.
You got to play it that way because you don't want to give up the quick, easy strike so that they can get the ball again.
I don't know, but Dak almost had 300 yards passing. He was 22 for 35 for 273 yards.
I'm telling you, most of that came at the end, probably between the fourth and in the fourth quarter.
And then the last thing I didn't quite get was how come you all didn't try for anything? You had 31 seconds left in the game. You still had a timeout. Tony Romo talked
that's
about
a very easy answer.
Yeah.
And his name is Jason Garrett.
that was poor quarterback coaching.
We've had poor
It was
coaching
poor
the
coaching
entire
position.
game.
That's playing for the
On
top.
both sides.
Not playing for
Yeah, but this is the thing too. Not only is it Garrett, it's Linehan too. Because as an offensive coordinator, your play should have been we're going.
You had enough time
taking shots.
to take a shot in the end zone and a timeout. You could have stopped the clock. You had plenty of time to have a pass.
Exactly. Because not only do you take the shot at the end zone, but if you don't get in, you have the timeout
Exactly.
and you've gotten closer with your kicker.
Not only that, but you have a chance of getting some type of pass interference penalty.
Exactly.
Get you even closer.
Right.
Yeah. And going back to the game, I chose the Redskins. I'm also going to give a shout out to Mr. John Morgan III. He sends you a hello, Mr. Bryant.
I know that guy.
And one for you too, Herman.
I love that guy in my life.
Redskins is who I chose. Go ahead.
I picked the Cowboys and we lost. Next.
Of course, I picked the Cowboys. I thought I wanted to do a rant after this game. I'm not going to do this crazy rant, okay? Cowboys fans, we, because I'm one, we need to realize no matter how much we hate Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan, the moves that we're making, this all boils down to one person, and that's Jerry Jones. The Cowboys have gone downhill since Jerry Jones ran Jimmy Johnson out of Dallas, okay? Barry Switzer came in, and he won a Super Bowl with Jimmy Johnson's team, and he lost one. No, we lost it. Not that was Chan Gailey.
We didn't go to no more Super Bowls.
No, we didn't lose the Super Bowl. We lost in the NFC Championship.
Oh yeah. We
lost the NFC Championship. That's four Super Bowls that you would have had under Jimmy Johnson, and probably more. Jimmy Johnson probably could still be there like a Bill Belichick, but Jerry Jones with his ego.
20. You talking about 20-some years? That's a long time.
You never know. Jerry, how long has Belichick been?
That's since 1992.
Anyway, shut up. Stop talking during my rant.
But I agree. You had a formula. You had a formula of success
exactly.
there. That'd have been a long time.
These are the bigger things that the Cowboys fans don't see because we're so passionate at the time of these losses and everything. Why did we not re-sign our offensive line coach? Why is he in Cincinnati right now? And we got this guy from Cincinnati, and our offensive line looks like crap. Why is our quarterback coach an undrafted free agent who couldn't make your team last year when you have a 4th-round quarterback in his 3rd year of development? I don't care. He is not a coach. You have a third-year player who's a 4th-round draft pick at the hardest position in the NFL, and you don't have a real coach behind him. Okay? These are the problems with the Cowboys that are bigger than just the head coach and the offensive coordinator. It's some of the smaller things. Our offensive line looks like some crap now. Why was the offensive line coach? Why is he gone? These are the things that the Cowboys are never going to be good again until Jerry Jones stops doing stupid stuff. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. There will be no reputable real coach to coach the Cowboys because Jerry's always going to hire somebody who's going to be his puppet.
Jerry is the coach.
Point blank, period. I'm going to be a Cowboys fan for life. It's going to be a while before we're good again.
Yeah, 'cause you have to change a whole lot of email addresses and everything.
But that's all I had to say about that.
I'm just saying, I don't think Jimmy Johnson would still be there if he'd been there since 1992.
He would have burned out.
Who his successor would be there?
And he didn't do a good job in Miami, so I.
It was Miami.
It was
so-
Miami.
That was more, yeah. Yeah, that was
It was
because
Miami.
he went there with
He would have won us 6 Super Bowls.
who was quarterback was it?
He would have
Dan
won.
Marino.
He would have won us
When
Super
Dan
Bowls
Marino wasn't in
until the
prime,
salary
Super
cap came
Bowl.
into play.
They
And
never
then
got
it
a
would've
running
been
back
challenged.
going, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, so last week I did okay, went 3-2. Mark, what did you end up with?
4-1.
And Herman
I went 3-2.
and Marcus, you went
4-1.
okay. So basically, it came down to the Cowboys game, which also cost me some money in my pool, but that's a whole nother game.
Why you bet with your heart, man?
Because
You don't bet with your heart.
I do. That's why I lose money. So that was a pretty good game. It was a lot of intensity. It was some close games in there. It wasn't a ton of blowouts like we had before. Well, actually, I take that back. There was a ton of blowouts.
Yeah, all of them were blowouts.
Yeah, they were all
Cowboys,
pretty much like
Cowboys.
blowouts.
And a lot of kickers missing.
A lot
Wow.
of yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to say, I'm not sure which week. It might be the next, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. I think the game of the season is going to be played. The Rams and the Chiefs.
Oh wow!
That's coming up. I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks. If that's not on prime time, if they don't flex that into prime time,
Yeah,
They're gonna flex that for prime time.
You know, because they did do some flexing already with the
Mhm.
Redskin game
Mhm.
being changed before Christmas. All right, so we're gonna get into this new season, this new week with these new games. We got a Thursday night game coming up where Miami is headed to Texas to play the Texans. Right now, the Texans are giving up 7.5 points to Miami. Hopkins is the number 3 leading receiver. That dude has 707 yards and 4 touchdowns so far in the season, and it's basically the Texans' offense, in my opinion. Miami, I don't know if their quarterback is going to come back this week. He needs to do something because Brock Osweiler is not the answer. But on this particular game, I'm going with the Texans. Mark, who do you pick?
This one, Osweiler is going back to familiar grounds, going back to Houston, where they paid him from Denver,
Where he ripped them off.
where rip off. I mean, this was a toss up to me, man. I don't
this
know
is a
which.
toss up.
Yeah, man. I don't know which true Miami team's gonna come, but I'm going with the underdog. I'm taking the Dolphins on this one. I think the Dolphins will go in there and surprise Houston and take this victory. The what they call him, the Brockos,
The Brockinator.
Brockinator or
It was some crazy.
Brockinator or Octoberator or something like that they call him. But anyway,
I don't know how you got that nickname.
Right.
yeah.
Mr. Triplet, who are you going with on this team?
Yeah, I'm with Mark on this one. Like this is like I felt like gosh, either team could win this one. Both of them are 4-3. It's all about Brock Osweiler though, and I can't trust that dude. So I'm gonna go with the home team on this one. That's the only reason I'm picking the Texans because
He went with Miami.
I know but I agree with
Yeah,
him.
he what I'm saying.
Oh,
The
okay.
game, like I don't think it's gonna be Houston's got this in the bag. You know,
Yeah. Oh no. Nobody's saying that. All right, Marcus. Is Mark going to be a lone wolf, or are you with him?
He might have to be a lone wolf. 'Cause there's no way I'm picking Miami with Brock Osweiler.
Oh.
I don't even know how he can come out of his mouth and say that nonsense.
Hey man.
Okay, I mean,
but they didn't like the Texans. Like you just said before, the Texans. What he threw for 100 yards the last
right? You
game.
telling me Osweiler can't put up 140?
I'm not saying, but I had way more faith. You know, even though he hasn't lived up to last year yet, I had way more faith with Deshaun Watson and Hopkins and Texans defense than I do Brock Osweiler led offense, especially in Houston. Come on, man, I'm picking the Texans. Plus, I picked them to win the division, so I need all these wins.
Who's talking about thinking with their heart? Who's that?
I'm not thinking with my heart. I'm just saying I got to go with my pick.
All right. So the next game we got on the ballot.
Did you choose yours?
Yeah, I went.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who'd you pick? I don't know.
I picked the Texans.
Oh, that's right. You did go.
okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So the next game we got on the ballot are the Saints at the Vikings. There is no spread on this particular game. No. So we're gonna let Marcus start this one off.
I mean, this might be the game of the week. This is going to be a good game. 2 high-powered offenses, but I'm gonna have to pick against Kirk Cousins. He'll do something. Throw a pick, fumble the ball.
Minnesota's at home. You sure about this?
I don't care. The Saints are actually pretty great this year. They're I'm picking the Saints. I got more faith in Drew Brees than I got Kirk Cousins.
Mark.
They're playing in Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to get a pretty good big boost from the defensive lineman coming back, Everson Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Minnesota in this one. Saints, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Saints don't have any defense.
That's true.
They don't have any defense. They can't stop nobody. So I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings.
Herman?
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings too, and it's because they're defense and they're at home. I do expect it to be a good scoring game, but yeah, I just don't. If this was in New Orleans, I might flip it.
I may have
Probably
agreed.
would,
I may
but
have a little bit of change.
I'm going with the Vikings on this one.
I mean, the Saints have looked really good the last couple weeks.
Yeah, they're not going to lose. Well, they're going to look good again too, but they're going to lose.
Marcus, you're right. You're right, Marcus, on this one. I'm with you on this one. I'm going with the Saints. The Saints went up against the number one defense last week against the Ravens. And the Ravens were shutting them down until like the fourth quarter. And then it was just an offensive explosion. I just don't see Kirk Cousins. I mean, they struggled against Cleveland. I mean, I just don't see it happening. Huh?
That's a good team.
You keep saying that, but their record doesn't say that.
Their record doesn't, but their games.
Well, then it
Yeah,
doesn't.
Cleveland is a very good team. They're the best team with a bad record.
Right.
They don't know how to close.
Their good team has some terrible luck.
Yes.
So, and do you know that y'all keep saying that the Saints don't have any defense? Do you know they have the number one rushing defense going on right now?
Yards.
Still number one rushing defense. And do you understand also that the Saints are 7 for 8 on fourth down?
What
And
does that
that's
mean? That just means you're not
It
getting
means
first
that-
downs on 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
but 7 for 8 is pretty good. I mean, last week
But-
against the
but-
number one defense, they went for it, what, 3 or 4 times?
I don't know. I think that's
In
a
the
statement
first drive?
That's a statement against your offense.
No, that's a statement. That's a statement of confidence.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's confidence because you have to go for it because you
No,
can't get a
not
first
in the
down
first
on
drive.
first, second, or
Not
third.
on the first
or third
drive.
down.
If Tucker don't miss that field goal,
They lose
Baltimore
that
wins
game.
the game.
Yeah.
Baltimore wins that game.
Yeah, Baltimore
Oh,
definitely.
It's
wins.
great.
I think whoever got the ball.
I mean,
and
if you-
I think if y'all went overtime, whoever got the ball.
If Tucker don't miss that field goal, Baltimore wins that game.
Why?
Because he makes the field goal.
If he makes the field goal, they're tied.
They're
They
tied,
go
but they're
overtime.
gonna win the game.
Yeah,
How was
Baltimore's
Baltimore
gonna win
gonna
it.
win?
Because
They
the
didn't get
momentum
the
was
ball.
on their side.
I just-
I-
The Saints walked down the field and scored.
I just
Baltimore
wanna
had to come back
go-
to score.
I want to go back to
Both of them
your
offensive
fourth
scores.
down stat. I forgot what I was going to say about that. But to me, the fourth down stat it shows that you execute. Your team can execute in critical moments. It doesn't show how good your offense is because if your offense was that good,
You wouldn't be in that
you would be
situation.
in fourth down situations. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, this is over the season now, but last week they went for it like 4 times right in the one game. So, all right, so we got a split record on this
Because, you know,
particular game.
Plus, Baltimore's really good. I think, just like you said, the number one defense in the
They
league
have
right
a
now.
good defense. They have a real good defense. They do.
So you got to go for the fourth down, and you got it. So hey,
That's why you're not coaching in the NFL.
whatever.
I don't know. It seems like the coaches that are more aggressive are the ones that are doing really successful now.
Aggressive
You-
or dumb.
You
What
play
about that?
to win the game.
Okay.
All right, so the next game we got on the docket, I don't think we're going to have much conversation about. It's the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills.
Who scheduled this? I want to talk to the NFL scheduler and ask him what he was thinking. Put this
It's,
on Monday.
It's a divisional
No, it's a
rivalry.
divisional game. It was
so they gotta
rivals.
play each other.
Yeah,
But
but
do you
they-
realize the Patriots are giving up 14 points? They're giving up 2 touchdowns to the Bills in this game.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go real quick. Give me the Pats. Mark.
Pats. I don't.
Herman.
What's
Patriots. I mean, we did
one
this
quick thing? Who's starting quarterback for Buffalo again?
Who knows?
I don't even
It
know.
doesn't matter.
Is it Peterman?
Is Shady even
No,
healthy? Is
it's
he
not.
playing?
Well, I don't know if he's even going to be.
No, it's
No,
Derek
it's not.
Anderson.
It's
Derek
Derek
Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he just brought in?
Yes. And he started last
He
week.
started last week, and
That's
he's just as bad as the other.
Why is Peterman still on the team? If you brought in a guy on like Monday and say, "Hey, come start on Sunday," okay, and yeah, sure,
Because you
why
need a
not?
backup for him.
Man.
He gets hurt.
You, forget
gonna
that.
start
You
your
might as well
wide
find
receiver.
somebody, who played in high school at this point.
All right, so Herman's with the Pats. Marcus, we already know who you're with, but go ahead and say it.
I mean, come on, Buffalo in
So,
New
you pick
England.
Buffalo?
No,
Marcus,
I'm,
you
no,
pick
no, no,
Buffalo?
no.
Mark your tape.
I'm saying Buffalo in New England with Derek Anderson as the quarterback against the Patriots in October. Come on, man. That's
Okay. All right, so that was a good one. But this next game is going to be a barn burner. We got the Packers playing at the Rams. The Rams actually giving up 9.5 in this game, which was kind of a big
Is that the Rams? You sure?
Yeah. The
Yes,
Rams are giving up
the
because they're at home, but they're giving up 9.5. Packers right now are number 5 against the pass. The Rams are the number 2 offense total and number 1 in rushing. Number 1 in rushing.
Todd Gurley's a beast.
Todd Gurley's a beast. The Rams are for me. Mark, who you got?
Taking the Rams too. Riding Gurley. Gurley on my fantasy team, so I definitely need some points from him. But
And he's been providing them.
Yeah, he has. Rams got too much power for the Green Bay. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think they'll win conventionally.
Even with that great quarterback over there in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Marcus.
It's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers. I'm put it to you this way: if it's close in the fourth quarter, and Aaron Rodgers has the ball last, they're winning that game. But I'm going to pick the Rams.
Yeah. I'm picking the Rams too. He took exactly what I was going to say. If the Rams mess around and let Green Bay hang in this game, I don't think the Rams is going to be convincingly. What do you consider convincingly? Like 14 points,
like 27 to 14.
I don't see that. But if it's closer and they let Green Bay hang around and score, Green Bay's going to win that game.
How is Aaron Rodgers' knee? Is it better?
He's better now. I think he's going to be a little bit better. He's going to have a smaller brace, so he'll be a little bit more mobile. He had a setback a game or two ago, but I think he's.
And I think on Green Bay's part, I think he's getting a couple of his wideouts back. I think Cobb is close to coming back, and they just got Geronimo Allison back, so he got a few more weapons.
Yeah, if they can hang around, it could get interesting.
All right, so we're all in on the Rams on that particular game. So the last game we're going to have a conversation about tonight is the Browns at the Steelers. The Steelers are giving up 8 points in this particular game. The Browns have the number 5 rushing offense going on, and the Steelers have the number 2 passing offense. Herman, we're going to let you start this.
Isn't this the second game for them?
Yes, it is the second game.
This
The
is the tie.
First game was a tie.
First game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a tie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers this time. Steelers are at home. I believe the Browns are a good team. I do. They just can't finish games right now. That's why they've had 4 overtimes. You know what I mean? This season,
God,
like that's
damn, really?
unheard. Yeah, they've had 4 overtimes this season.
Jesus.
They are right there in every game. Once they learn how to finish them, they will be that team that's beating everybody, or winning that division. So right now, I'm going with the Steelers.
Marcus.
Well, in order to be consistent, I said a couple weeks ago that I wasn't going to pick the Steelers again this season. And this game is in Cleveland.
This game is in Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh.
The Browns are a good team. They're gonna win. I'm picking the Browns.
Taking the Browns. You going Lone Wolf on this one, huh?
Yes, I'm going low. Woo! I'm going low.
Well, we haven't all picked yet, so don't be lone wolfing just yet. I am going to go with the Steelers. The Steelers just got too much. The Steelers got the momentum. But like I said, the Browns are good, but they're not on the Steelers.
But this is a divisional game, though. This is
It's
a
a
divisional
divisional game, and I don't even know. I mean, Ben has this ridiculous number against the Bengals and the Browns, so I don't even think that even makes a difference in this particular game. So we're going to leave our resident Steeler fan to finish this one off for us.
This one, I think Cleveland is a tough team. They're tough one to deal with. They fought back in the first game. We had them up 21 to 7, and they came fighting back. They're good. This ain't gonna happen again, y'all. It's not. Steelers all the way.
You predicting a blowout over there?
Steelers all the way. I'm not gonna say blowout. But I think
That's what all the way means. That's what all the way means.
it's gonna be Steelers. Ben's gonna dominate this game. It's gonna be Steelers all the way.
I think we should bet on whether it's going to be a tie game. We should see what the odds are in Vegas. I mean, hey, if we win,
no way.
and like Herbert is saying, 4 games with the overtime, we can bet on that.
Let's put our money on the Powerball. I don't think we need it. I think we got better odds.
There's no
than
way
that.
this could be another overtime game.
I'm telling you, Steelers will probably win this at the end in a field goal. Like they'll keep it from going to overtime, but this is not going to be a Steelers all the way game. Not even close.
I think Mark is right on that one. I think that it's just going to be a Steelers domination the whole game. I don't even think it's going to be close.
What's the Steelers record right now?
We 3-2.
Y'all won
3-2-1.
You won how? What you won? How many of them? 2, 3 in a row.
It's just I think this 2 games in a row. Two games in a row.
It's time for you.
So they're
it's
leading
time
the
for you to
division
almost
now.
lose one.
They lead. They sat at home
Wait,
on a
how they
bye
leading the division?
and leading the division.
The Cincinnati's 4-3, right?
Baltimore lost 2
I
games,
forgot about Baltimore.
and we only got really good
What's Cincinnati's record?
division.
4 and something.
Cincinnati is 4. Cincinnati 4.
If
No,
Cincinnati's
Cincinnati
4 or
3.
something.
They 3-2 too, right?
Y'all
No,
haven't had
Yeah.
y'all bye yet.
no,
Cincinnati's still
they're
winning.
4-3.
Yeah, Cincinnati's still winning.
Okay, there you go. 4-3. Yeah.
They're winning the division.
I don't think so. But that's all they kept talking about on the radio. I don't know. Steelers sat at home and took the start.
Is it because y'all had less losses?
Yeah, correct.
All right, so we're going to jump into a couple hot
Hold on.
topics.
One thing real quick. I just want to give a shout out to the Bears. The Bears are surprisingly putting in some work this year, man. That game against the Patriots, I watched that whole game. That was a great game. And Mitch Trubisky, he might make me a believer by the end of the season if he keep doing what he's doing. I mean, he definitely can run that ball like crazy, man. So
Remember, I told you about them to get in the season.
the Bears.
And they played that game without most of Khalil Mack for the most of that, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he was hurt.
He wasn't a
Yeah,
factor.
he wasn't a factor.
Yeah, he wasn't a
That
factor at all.
Exactly. But they pushed him. They pushed him.
Yeah, they definitely pushed them. So just want to give a shout out to the Bears.
All right, so we're going to jump into a couple of these hot topics before we let y'all get out of here. The first thing we're going to talk about is all the trades that's been going on just recently. The Giants let 2 of their defensive players go. They traded their cornerback, their first-round draft pick, Eli Apple, not Eli Manning, to the
They
Saints.
traded the raw Eli.
Well, if you ask Odell Beckham, he probably feels that way. And they also traded their defensive tackle, pork chop. What's his
No,
name?
dude. Harris.
Yeah, Snacks.
Harrison.
Harrison.
Detroit.
To Detroit. How do you feel about that trade, Mark?
I guess it was a money deal more than anything else. Eli will help out that New Orleans secondary, who got a bunch of Buckeye players in that secondary. He just adds on to that. Snack Harrison, I don't know what Detroit really going to benefit from that. I really
He's
don't.
more like a rotational player, I guess. for their defensive line.
So the only thing I can think of is that Giants had to get rid of some cap room. They had to make the cap room.
Yeah, it seems like the Giants have after that last defeat, they're starting over. They're going to go fresh. They're just trying to get rid of some cap space, trying to get available players for next year. I think they're going to, revamp that offense around Saquon Barkley for next year. So some of these other players they're going to do. I also heard that they had Jackrabbit on the trading block. Janoris Jenkins, and he's a very good corner. They said he was on the trade block too, but I guess something has happened with that. Herman, are you happy with what the Giants have done?
Seems like the Giants are trying to catch up to the Raiders. Let's start trading players away, baby. I mean,
The only difference is the Raiders are getting number one.
Yeah, they are getting number
Yeah,
one.
well,
the Giants
yeah.
aren't getting that. But what they get for Apple? Was that a 5th round or 2? They got 2 for that because they got
They
one
got
this
2
year.
for
and
that.
They
one
got. I
year.
want to say it was a 4 and number 7.
Yeah,
it was a 4 and
that
7.
sounds about right. But I mean, yeah, like you said, Eli Apple couldn't have been. What year was he in this contract?
This was his second or third.
So he wasn't a big number coming off.
But
of,
but if you guys remember last year, he was kind of
yeah.
They got a fourth and a 7th round pick for him.
Okay.
he was kind of a distraction in the locker room for them.
yeah, I think
last
they're
year.
trying to start to maybe
Yeah.
try to change the culture.
Yeah.
I know this might sound crazy, but
Don't
it's
say
not gonna
that.
happen before the trade deadline. No.
If he says
Next
anything
year,
about Odell.
don't be surprised if OBJ is not. I'm not kidding, y'all. I'm serious.
There are a lot of whispers going on about that.
The culture of the Giants right now is a problem.
Yeah.
It is
And
becoming a
he's not part of the
problem. He is not. So don't be surprised if he's on another team next year. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen before the trade deadline. It's just not.
Yeah, his number is just too big right now. There would be some work.
Yeah, don't be surprised if the Giants try to find a way.
I agree with the culture remark. It's coming from the top down. The owners, throwing fits in the box because they're losing. Of course, OBJ. Then OBJ's father's now talking crap to the owners. Just something has to change. The culture is poison right now in New York.
So do you think that the coach that they fired last year was right?
Probably so. Probably so.
I forget what he said.
He had benched Eli, and they basically tore him
made
down.
him
That was the end of his career right there. How dare you bench Eli?
You know, I was one of those ones saying that too, and now I look like a fool this year. So
You know, Eli's
think-
not strong enough to deal with the culture that's there now, either. You know what I mean?
He's never led like that.
No,
I don't think there was really a problem with really benching Eli and trying to find another quarterback. My problem was it wasn't Geno Smith.
Yeah, he should have went to not the rookie.
That's my big problem.
They had a younger guy.
They
Webb
had,
or something or somebody.
Webb Davis,
What-
Davis Webb or whatever.
Yeah,
you know why
should've-
didn't they grab Teddy Bridgewater when he was leaving the Jets?
Well, because
That
you know
would've
why?
been-
That would have made a huge controversy.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to put that pressure.
Yeah. That would have caused a huge controversy.
Because as soon as you would have heard it all now, man. Get Eli out of there, put him in. You know,
Well,
right now they can't say that because they don't.
Well, and two, last year coach was the one who was really giving up on Eli. This particular coach did believe in Eli, so he still wanted to
Yeah,
go.
Did he believe in
Eli.
that? Did he believe in Eli, or did the ownership believe in Eli?
it's probably the ownership.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's always easier to stick with the veteran quarterback if you don't have a true capable
Exactly.
person to come in and
I
replace.
agree.
Exactly.
You have somebody like an Eli Manning.
Exactly.
You know, man, his name alone leaves credit enough to say even if he's struggling, you believe in
Yeah, it's like you say, they didn't have another choice.
him. They didn't, and they made sure that they didn't have a choice.
Is their first pick next year in the draft? Is it a quarterback?
Dude,
It has to be
you
so.
don't have who you have coming out. There's
No,
only
this-
really one true.
There's a few, I think.
Oregon's quarterback. They talk about Oregon's quarterback a lot.
Is he NFL ready for real? Is he
I'm
NFL
not
ready?
sure. I haven't seen him really play, but
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I've heard.
He's not NFL ready. I don't
And
think so.
they're going to need like a bridge. They're definitely going to need a bridge.
Well, I mean, he'll probably sit the first year. I mean, if they
So
do
when Eli plays again next
You
year,
don't cut Eli in New York as bad as Eli is. You cut Eli and replace him with who? Case Keenum.
like Marcus
No.
said, trade him to the Jaguars and get
Take
Blake
Blake
Bortles.
They will destroy. They will firebomb.
Yeah, I don't think Bortles got that fire from
The
New York,
stadium.
that
I
New York
mean,
media.
Not here. His skin
That's
ain't, his skin ain't that thick.
That's the unfortunate thing about having to replace like a man,
A legend.
Eli Manning. Like when the Colts did it, they had Luck. You know, they immediately replaced him with Luck. So it was a legitimate move. He
And they knew
left
what
and-
they were going to do in the
Exactly.
draft. They knew they had a plan
Yeah.
already in place.
But the Giants, they're in no man's land right now.
They were counting on Eli to still be good enough to bridge them. Then they brought in Saquon because they thought that was the missing piece.
And that was the mistake they made. They shouldn't have taken Saquon. He's good as he is. They should have took one of these rookie quarterbacks, and that way you say, well, you either put him in this year after Eli failed, or next year is his year.
Like I
There's
said,
too
you
many
you have
running
the
backs
bridge.
out there. Yeah, you got to have the bridge. It's just too important in their environment in New York, where they will eat you alive. You have got to have a legitimate solution.
You're on page 6.
Yeah.
We hitting the time, so let's move on.
All right, we're gonna get into this trade. The LA Raiders are John Gruden is basically
The Oakland
blowing-
Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders is basically blowing this team up. He's already released Khalil Mack. The Cowboys just acquired their number one receiver, to Amari Cooper, and there are a whole lot of rumblings that their
You mean he just stole from the Cowboys? Is what he's doing.
well that remains to be seen. But also the quarterback is a question. He probably won't get traded this year, but there are some rumblings that he's not the guy for John.
It's a chance that they might end up going a different direction.
This year?
It's a chance.
You
Next
think
year.
he might? Oh.
Yeah, next year. It doesn't look like he's going to do it this year.
I don't think Gruden is that much in love with him.
At all.
What? How you two Cowboys fans? How do you feel? Do you feel like that number one draft pick was?
I don't like giving up the number one draft pick for anybody, for any player. This is why I have a little bit of a problem with it. If Dak starts to kind of tank more this year, and he just, you have questions at the end of the year for Dak, and there is a quarterback next year that you want, you're not getting him now. So you pretty much have stuck yourself with Dak. And I'm not saying it's time to give up on Dak. I'm just saying you've pretty much stuck yourself with Dak now. And Amari Cooper's young. He's 24 years old. So it's not like he doesn't have a lot left in the tank. But the question is did you really have to give the first rounder up? Were there a ton of teams out there trying to give away that first rounder for him? You know what I mean? you might have been able to get that second. I read the article that said that Stephen Jones, this was actually Stephen Jones, not Jerry. Stephen Jones called up the Raiders coach, the Raiders GM, McKenzie, and told him, hey, just checking in with you. We're going to call you back on Monday, talk about Amari Cooper. And Monday when he called, he offered him the first rounder. Here's the first rounder, we want him. And that's that. Jerry's supposed to be this negotiating business guy. Come on, man. You got to think about something. Hey, talk him into giving you not next year's first rounder, but the first rounder the year after or something. Hey, I give you you want a first rounder, but I don't want to give you this year's first rounder. How about if I give you a fifth rounder and a first rounder next year after that? Negotiate it. You don't start with your best offer when you negotiate.
Do you feel like Dallas, that was a desperate move for them?
It was desperate. It definitely looks desperate.
I don't quite agree with the number one, giving up a number one draft choice for him. He's good. I don't think he's my number one good. I wouldn't do that.
There's only a few receivers you give up a number one for, in my opinion.
True.
Brown, Julio.
He's got to be proven to me without a shadow of doubt.
Yeah, in fact, that's all.
Brown. He's been in Pro Bowl 2 years in a row. But he's only been in this league 4 years.
Yeah, but
he's only had one really, really good year though.
But he had Pro Bowl.
He had two years.
Yeah, but that was his, I think, first and second year in the league. He hasn't done anything.
Wasn't he hurt somewhat last year?
No, well, the reports came out later after the season that he did have a minor injury, but he never reported during the regular season, so it was kind of like quiet.
It could be a brilliant. It looks like a brilliant move if he goes out there and dominates, and I'll give that. I'm just saying that don't give up your first rounder so easily.
I love it.
You do?
I think it was a great move for the Cowboys. From all the reports from all the college prognosticators and everyone, there aren't a whole lot of great wide receivers coming out in the draft this next year. Dallas was slated to draft a wide receiver. We just did it a few weeks early. We got him now.
A few months
early. He's 24, like Herman said. He's only 6 months older than Calvin Ridley, who we really should have drafted last year. So he has seasoning. He's a veteran. We have him another year for like $13 million. So I think it was a great move. Was the number one kind of high? Maybe, but either way, we were going to use that number one on the wide receiver. We just did it now.
I don't know if that was a definite though. We needed safety still too.
We still need safety help. I don't think we're going to draft no safety.
You don't know. There's a lot of things that you can get with a number one. You can get more draft picks with a number one.
You can, but this is again. I feel he's a more proven commodity now, which he can help us now. And apparently, his last two offensive coordinators were under Scott Linehan, so he should be able to get into the playbook pretty easily and be able to acclimate himself a little faster than normal.
I could go play with that offense.
The thing is that him and Dak, and then apparently there's other stats that Dak is not taking off this week, even though we're on our bye, that he's actually going to stay in Dallas and they're going to work out together to try to get a little better.
That's after Dak got his Sleep Number mattress delivered today. If you follow him on Twitter, you'll
moving on. So we were going to have a little conversation about Peterson in the Cardinals corner, who was somewhat disgruntled this week and was demanding to get a trade. The Eagles was out there trying to make a deal, but just recently it looks like Peterson had a conversation with management and he stands. Is that how it works?
Yeah, he basically talked to the Bidwells and they had like a 30-minute meeting, and after the meeting came out and said he doesn't want to be traded. Basically, I guess they talked about their plan to get back to winning, and they were able to convince him. So don't be surprised if you see some type of contract restructuring or extension coming up for him. Come on, money talks with these players. I know he wants to win too, but money talks.
Yeah, I'm happy. I didn't want to see Peterson out of Arizona. He started his career with them. I like to see him ended with him. So I don't think Peterson's going anywhere.
So before we get out of here, we're going to finish this last quick topic. And Marcus, I want to get your input on this particular topic because we haven't heard from you in a couple minutes. How do you feel about these new coaches trying to make these decisions to just win the game right out instead of going for this two-point conversions, trying to win the game instead of kicking the field goal and tying the game? Last week, if y'all remember, the Titans head coach he got his team down the field, scored a touchdown, had opportunity to kick an extra point and tie the game up going overtime. Instead, he went for it on a 2-point conversion. They weren't successful, and he lost. And then you had the Cowboys, Jason Garrett, trying to get down in the field goal range, not to win, but to actually kick a field goal to tie the game so he could go into overtime. And then you have the Ravens, who also did the same thing, and they were going to kick the extra point. They just, for some reason, weren't successful. How do you feel about this, Marcus?
Well, Tennessee's coach Mike Vrabel,
Yeah.
earlier this season, he did pretty much the same thing, and he was applauded. He was like, everybody shouted him all. So this guy didn't work out this time.
But that wasn't at the overtime when he was done?
No, they went for it on 4th down.
Yeah, he went for it on 4th down.
It wasn't
and got
in
it.
overtime.
In territory.
That was in the
It was in overtime. It was in overtime.
They were already in overtime.
Well, no. I'm sorry. Let's go back. He did go for a 4th down play to get him a drive, to get him to do it in overtime. So he did it both in the 4th quarter, and he did it in overtime.
Okay.
So he did it both.
Okay.
So that time he was he's praised. This time he's criticized.
Right.
He had one coming. He could afford to do it. He's a first-year coach. He's probably not going to get fired behind that. But I got to be like Herm Edwards. You play to win the game. So I mean, if you know you're not in trouble getting fired, then play to win the game. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Play to win the game.
If you play to win the game, right? Okay. But in that situation, you came down at the end, you scored the touchdown, okay? The percentages tell you to kick the field goal. You can't always go by the percentages, but you do. You play to win the game. It doesn't say play to win the game in regulation.
Right.
Okay? There's a whole nother quarter of overtime.
Weren't you just one of the ones complaining earlier this season about all these overtime games?
No, I wasn't complaining about them. I said it's because we were having them because the kickers couldn't kick.
No.
That's what I said. But yeah,
Overtime is more playing time for your players to get hurt. Let's just go ahead and win this
But
game.
it doesn't matter. You play to win the game, but it does not say you play to win the game by regulation. That, to me, that call was reckless. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't calculated. To me, it was reckless because you were there already. You got your team in the position that you needed to have them in. You brought them back. You got them in. You could have got them into overtime, where you regroup and start the whole game over again. You know what I mean? To me, it was reckless.
Right.
Hey, I find it too. Pittsburgh, they practice 2-point conversions all the time.
Yeah,
they do theirs like the second quarter.
When it's not that important.
Yeah, he's never really criticized for going for that for the
He's
2
not
points.
losing
Well,
games.
he did get criticized. There was one game last year he went for it, and it did end up biting him in the butt at the end. I think he did it like 2 or 3 times in that game and didn't get him and ended up biting him in the butt. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But the point is, like what Herman was saying, you give your team as much opportunity to win the game as you can. Kicking that extra point, going into overtime, you never know what's going to happen. You could punt that ball off. That dude could fumble the ball. You could get a quick score right there. You could throw a pick. I mean, anything can happen in that game. And yes, Marcus, you're right. Another injury could happen too. But you give your team that chance to win. You don't just you basically put that whole game on one play.
Yeah.
You got one play to either win or lose.
Mhm.
I'd like to have multiple plays.
Exactly.
Well, I understand if it's the playoffs, yes. You take
You
the
need
safe.
these games to get in the playoffs.
I understand that, but like I say, Mike Vrabel, he's first year coach. He's trying to set a tone, a culture in Tennessee. And like I said, early this season, he was praised for making moves.
But
moves.
the thing that irritates me is that you took all that time, all that energy, all that effort to come back, get down the field, score. And then all that was basically for naught because you wasted it on this one play.
Well, my question is, how do the players feel about it?
The players back their coach. They're going to back their coach. What are they going to say? I mean, the coach was dumb. They had to back his coach.
Like I said, you play to win the game. He had one coming. He had one coming. Maybe next time he plays it safe.
He's not playing it safe. He's being
It's playing
smart. He's giving
smart.
your team more of a chance. Like Brian said, Brian put it. That's the best way that you can put it. You took one play when you could have had multiple plays for your team to have a chance to win the game, but you decided to take it down to one play, and you did not execute. You didn't execute, and it's reckless. It's a difference between aggression and stupidity. Aggression is like seriously aggression when you're 4th and 1 and we got to get to overtime or we can punt. No, you go for it. If it's a situation where it makes sense, you go for it. You know what I mean? But in his situation, and you said you play to win the game, Marcus. what happens at the end of the year if you miss the playoffs by one game? And that's the game that you might have won.
And it's going to come down to that.
That is-
It's going to
that is
come
true.
down to that.
That is true.
It's going to come down to
That
that.
is true, but which,
I mean, he's playing the game like there's no such thing as overtime.
Yeah. It'd be different if it was
Like, we were gonna get a
just
tie.
going to be
It was gonna be a tie.
Yeah.
yeah, man, well, I mean, okay, would you be criticizing Bill Belichick if he made the decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Just like they did when he did it against the Patriots.
Yeah, when he went for the Patriots on 4th and 1
Uh-huh.
when he was playing the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Well,
It's a thin line. It's a very thin line, but you know.
But
they gotta walk.
I take that back. I don't criticize Bill on that particular play because his defense was gassy at that time, and Peyton was lighting them up, and he
That's
thought
true.
that was his best chance to win.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a different situation. It's a situational type of thing, but I mean, like Brian, your team has spent so much energy just to get down and get back into that
Yeah.
and get that score. Let them catch their breath, kick that field goal, and let's go to overtime.
Because it's more improbable that they got down there to score
Mhm.
than to kick extra point. Mark, did we get your analysis on this?
I mean, I agree with you. I think you're supposed to. You give your team a chance.
live fast, die young. That's what I say. Live fast, die young.
And coach not long in the NFL. All right, we had a great show. We apologize for running a little bit long. It's
Long
because of
show.
Marcus and his cheering about his dumbass team. But Marcus, go ahead and take us out of here.
Just want to encourage you to like, share, subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon to make sure you get notifications whenever we go live. Check us out on Twitter as well. What's the Twitter handle?
Delay a game.
Delay game? That's it? Delay game? Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll see you same time next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We out. Peace.
Peace.
All right, we good.
Well, that was an hour-long show.
I wasn't going to do the last little topic. I was like, man, we should just end this. But
we needed to have a topic.
yeah. Because I didn't even do Le'Veon Bell was on there too, but I was like,
But
nah,
we already touched on him
yeah,
before.
it's like,
We're beating the drum with him.
You don't have to show up.